In 2011 and 2012, a drought destroyed harvests all over West Africa, including parts of Senegal. In capital city Dakar, people hardly felt the drought. But in the departments of Matam and Podor, more than 500 kilometers away from Dakar in the north, and at least a 2-hour drive from the main road, the drought meant that people struggled to feed themselves, their children, and their livestock. The Center for International Studies and Cooperation, or CECI, in partnership with the Federation of Development Associations of the FUTA, or FAFD, stepped in. With financing from USAID's Office of U.S. Foreign Disaster Assistance and some donations from the Canadian public, they brought a food security project to 9 villages in the region to help people affected by the food crisis. It was part humanitarian intervention and part disaster reduction project, and it touched the lives of almost 12,000 people. The results have been the building blocks of resilience for Matam and Podor. Deep inside the country, and especially in the north, the rains come for only 2 or 3 months per year. If it doesn't rain, nothing grows. So during the long dry season, which anyway is most of the year, the region looks more like the well-known ecosystem to the north, the Great Sahara Desert. The region is inhabited by semi-nomadic Fulani pastoralists in their large herds of cows, sheep, goats, and donkeys. On a typical morning, everyone travels to the nearest borehole to get the most precious of all provisions in this area, water, both for themselves and their animals. Here the village names reflect the nomadic nature of the population, with villages named after tasty foods found in the area or an event, including one village called literally the place where we lost the goat. In the local Fulani language, the village of Gaikadar means the place where we stopped with the cows, and stopped they did for so long that it passed from nomadic oasis to proper village. Some people live here year-round, or at least they try. For the last few years, the summer rains haven't been very good though, which makes it hard to stay. 2011 was one of the worst. Fatimata Mika Jallo has to care for her 8 children on her own. She depends on her millet crops to make ends meet. She prepares it for her family, and when times are tough, she takes some to the weekly market to trade for spices and vegetables. But in 2011, her millet crop failed. It was the same for everyone. When FAFD came to ask how they could help, the people of Gaikadar said they wanted to set up a garden near the borehole. That way they could use the water to irrigate and make a garden in the desert. All they would need would be some wire to fence off the area from the animals. The women organized themselves and divided the plots. CECI, in partnership with FAFD, provided seeds, training, and tools. She says that it's especially beneficial for her children, who even sometimes harvest a carrot or 2 to snack on in the garden. Fatimata's daughter Aminata goes to school not far from the communal garden.
Vous savez, nous sommes dans des zones périphériques où trouver à manger même c'est difficile, surtout si vraiment les précipitations ne sont pas les meilleures. Avant d'ailleurs, c'est pourquoi même nos effectifs même à l'école sont réduits aujourd'hui parce que les enfants ne parviennent pas à avoir vraiment une alimentation suffisante. Et avec l'avènement de ce jardin, quand même, nous sentons aujourd'hui que ça s'améliore peu à peu, ça s'améliore davantage. Hein. Ils parviennent à manger à la maison bien tous les légumes que vous voyez aujourd'hui. Au niveau de l'école, ça s'améliore parce que même l'effectif même a augmenté.
The women who work in the garden say that it has revolutionized their lives in Gaikadar. They want to spread the good news and the vegetables to their neighbors.
Ko wayni ebe tuto yo be dañi ebe ciodana ebe gaddana awdi mabbe ebe mbada ngesa ba kay ko minen kam min bayi daranade be tan ko min bayi so be noddi min ebe mbada min gara min balla be no min kollirano ni.
The village of Mary is not so hard to get to. It sits on a turnoff from the national highway. The villagers grow rice here when the waters of the Senegal River rise up during the rainy season. But when there wasn't enough rain, there also wasn't enough river. Following the catastrophic harvest of the past few years, FAFD and CECI designed a vegetable garden, like the one in Gaikadar, using water from the Senegal River to irrigate the field. It's a big field, framed by manually cut canals. About 300 women have plots here, and they are able to grow most of the vegetables that they need. Since it's a semi-urban area, the women here not only eat the vegetables they produce, they sell them.
Salado min ngidi dañjon ami gadda min ñam joni min batti aduna we e kanji fo joni e kanji ke min gadda seede seede supu men min puddi mo dañji seede seede to min jeey min nafta ton ko min ñam ko joni puddi dañji seede min jeeta min ñam ko do mo de barme jam.
When the project started in 2012, most people's crops had failed the year before, and what most people needed was cash to buy the things they had not been able to grow. FAFD and CECI instituted a cash grant program dispensed in 2 installments in order to help the most vulnerable households.
Il y a eu des enquêtes préalables qui étaient faites à ce niveau-là. Par les animateurs au niveau donc, des ménages, donc par rapport au cash, donc quand la femme est le chef de ménage, elle est d'office bénéficiaire de cette activité-là.
Jaina Musaso was one such case. She is a widow who supports her children and grandchildren. She got her first cash installment in November 2012. With the money, she decided to buy a female goat.
Gaddini ballal ngal so Allah mo yiti hen horam no feewi saw mbi ko yomi soota hen ko joƴƴinanmi pour so tawi ɓeydima mi wawa ittude hen so mankirama mi yeeya mi ñaama so jibini mami ɓir mi hokka tanam en ko ɗum jakorimi hen de minnen jakorimi hen kam ko dañde hen de so jibini ndamdi mami yeey so jibini gongol mami ñaam sabu mami yeey mi daña koɗo mi wara walla mi warana cukolo nami wiya yo ñaam koye barke muɗum jeeya.
She says that it's a good investment. It's destined to last a while and to help her meet her financial and food needs. In the village of Fete Foru, Cash Day has just arrived. The entire village has gathered under the shade of a sturdy neem tree to escape the heat and to dispense the cash. Kodo Jallo is getting her second cash grant of 35,000 francs.
ɗum ɗon somi yehi so Allah jaɓi somi nawi mi safriranmo hen hay so ujunnaaje tati.
Without this cash grant, Hodo Jallow wouldn't be able to help her daughter at all. Out here, not a lot of cash circulates. Only cows, milk, and cereals like millet, which they are sometimes forced to sell in order to make ends meet. Feteforo and neighboring village Namari are deep inside the furlough, one of the most vulnerable areas of Senegal. In these villages, there are no motor pumps or big gas-powered boreholes, or for that matter, electricity or running water. They use human power to get their water. This well is almost 100 meters deep and requires teams of people to bring up just one bucket. And it's a day's drive in a donkey cart to the nearest semi-urban area where they could buy provisions. With the severe drought of 2011, most households had not been able to save sorghum, millet, or corn seeds to plant. So CECI and FAFD helped them get seeds and small tools. The result was a decent harvest, with enough grains to save for the next year. But they needed a better way to stock their harvest. They decided to create a grain bank and stocked it with almost 200 bags of millet, which will help the villagers get through the lean season.
Pour rentade deminare emin gandi minen fo min gandi cadela men deminare so yi ha tobi won addubi do sakuji joyi neddo goto won addubi do sakuji didi emin kapto to min jogotono calde minen fo min jindini yande.
And that's the point. In the future, the villagers want to be able to help themselves.
C'est sur quoi on est en train de travailler actuellement. On s'est dit qu'il y a il y a des acquis qu'il faudra vraiment rendre durables, même si on était dans un projet d'urgence.
With training in vegetable gardening, with the acquisition of assets to help them live better lives, with the distribution of seeds and tools, and with the construction and organization of their own grain banks so they don't need an emergency food program during the next drought. These are the seeds of resilience for these 9 villages, for now and in the future.